I just filmed my whole intro and it wasn't recording. Love that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dana and we're doing another find or flop video today. And this time it's a little different. This is not at all sponsored. This is 100% me, Dana, purchased. But I am doing something which I've been wanting to do for so long, which is Amazon top best-selling skincare. This list, if you go to Amazon and type in skincare bestsellers, the list changes by the second. Literally, it changed from when I first looked at it to when I went to buy it, which was I think 20 minutes. So this list has changed over time, but you'll see some of these products are just tried and true, always on there. They're just products that you're gonna probably be familiar with. So I didn't find that just because it had changed, it was something that I shouldn't do. So I'm just gonna put that caveat disclaimer out there. If you go and look at it now, it's gonna be totally different. I have about half of them here. The other half I've either had in the past or have decluttered, that kind of thing. Some of them I don't use anymore, so I don't have it, but if I don't have it, I will be putting a picture here. But just know that I've used all of them many, many times. So that's where I stand with that. Also, I'm not gonna be putting it on my face. Not today. Not today, Satan. I don't know why I said that. Let's get going. In no particular order, because again, this top 10 list changed from the time that I looked at it to the time that I purchased. So I'm just going randomly. And the first thing we have is the Elta MD UV Clear Broad Spectrum SPF 46. This one is always on the top 10 or top whatever skincare list. And I don't like it. My opinion on this actually, I would feel carries more weight than just your typical person. But this sunscreen it's a hybrid sunscreen, so that means it has chemical and mineral filters. And it's just not great. I find that a lot of the times with a hybrid sunscreen, I don't know, they have too much of a white cast for it to have so many chemical filters. And this is another one that it's hard to blend. It's not hard to blend in, but there's too much of a cast for me to really love it. If I'm gonna have a cast, then I want just an all mineral sunscreen. Not that I ever want a cast, but you know what I mean. And it's expensive. I'm pretty sure that dermatologists always recommend it because I feel like they get a cut from it, somehow, they're sponsored and they're not telling me. I don't know if that's true. That's how I feel though. But it's just not my favorite. And if you don't know, if this is the first video you're ever watching from me, I review sunscreens all the time and this is just not it. So if you're interested in any good sunscreens, I do have lots of videos up, especially my top 5 and worst 5 from 2021. I will link that above. Go check that out. There are just so many better ones out there. And I think that this is one of those things that it's been around for so long that maybe it was the only option for a long time, but now it's not. So don't buy it. This is a flop, by the way. Next up, we will do the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. This is a water gel moisturizer. I've had probably 3 of these. I would say that one is I'm gonna go with a find, and that is a combination, of course, of a find and a flop. And the reason I say that is because it's really targeted to a very specific skin type, and that would be the more oily side of things or very young skin, because it's mainly water, which is not bad for your skin. But most of us, as we get older, or if we have dry skin, we need more than water. We need oils, we need butters, we need something richer, more emollient for our skin. And that's just not gonna cut it. I think sometimes it's marketed as just a wonderful moisturizer for all people, and it's not really true. It's just more for specific skin types, or like I said, younger people. But it doesn't mean it's bad. In the summertime when it's really hot and humid, I love it. I don't love the scent of it, and I think they now do have an unscented one. I also don't love the one that's an SPF as well, because that is misleading. You're never gonna use enough of it to get the proper UV coverage. It could be a good addition to your sunscreen, but I would not use it alone. And that's why I kind of say that it's a find, because I think it's just very targeted and a nuanced product, but it's not for everyone. But it's not bad. This one's gonna be controversial. This is the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. So I've had this for so long. There's still a lot to it because it's not for me. It's not a bad product. I've seen some people say that they don't like the texture, which to me is weird because it's a liquid. This is a salicylic acid toner. I don't find that the texture is bad at all. Like, it's liquid. It doesn't even really have like a gel to it. Some toners do, but this one, I mean, I don't like this like tackiness afterward, but that's normally you're gonna follow it with a moisturizer, so it's not bad. But this product for me is just a big pass, and I'm not gonna call it a flop at all though, because it's just, again, it's not for me. So this is a Flind, by the way, for people who have more textured skin or acne prone skin, or sometimes if they get like milia around their eye, like not right there, but like around this area or T-zone. This is great. It is an exfoliant. It's gonna help with that. If you're using it consistently, it's gonna do like wonders for your skin. But for people like me who have dry, pretty normal, balanced skin, it's just extraneous. I don't need it. I need more hydration from a toner. So that's why I've just like kept it and not, I've used so much of it. I mean, so much, like probably half of it. But every time I'm like, why am I using this? I don't know. So it's a Flind. If you love it, you love it. If you hate it, maybe you hate it. I don't hate it though, but you know what I mean. Next, we have the Neutrogena Wipes. I know I'm not just going down the list of Neutrogena. This is just the order I wrote it down in. I had these for so long. This was like all I used to wash my face for the longest time. And they are the best wipes out there. I would say like they just don't get dry. Like by the time you get to the bottom, so many other wipe brands are just dry. These really are good. That said, I don't use wipes anymore. It's just an environmental thing. It's also not the best for my face. I feel like I can use other products that kind of don't strip my skin as much, but I would not go so far as to say that these are a flop, because I do understand how convenient wipes are, and that like for some people it's just what they go to. And if you're gonna go to a wipe, I would say that this is a good option. But for me personally, I just don't use them anymore. So it is a Flind, and it's something that I wouldn't recommend. I would just tell people to get an oil cleanser or cleansing balm instead. So that's just me. If you couldn't tell, I'm kind of doing like one I have, one I don't have, for no reason, just because I think that's fun. And next up we have, this is, wow, what's the brand name? It's so tiny. Am I old? Marianne Organics Collagen Day and Night Anti-Aging Cream. So this, like the name would suggest, is a cream, and it has one of these tops. If you couldn't tell, I used it all. And this was like very high on the list, like top 5 or whatever. And I read all the claims and I looked at all the ingredients. The ingredient list is not bad at all. It just didn't do anything. Like, I don't believe that you really can get like collagen through skincare. It is something that as you age, you do, like your skin loses its collagen, but you're not gonna get it from this, especially not for whatever this cost, which was not expensive. So this is a flop for me. You would be better off with Cerve or Cetaphil if you want like a cheap moisturizer, especially because Cetaphil or Cerve does have ceramides in it, which is something I do believe in. So I would say if you want something cheap from Amazon, go with one of those over this. It's not bad, the ingredient list, like I said, but it's just not something I would recommend. So this is a flop. Okay, next up, we have another makeup remover kind of thing. This is the Bioderma Micellar water. I have had multiples of these as well. If you don't notice the trend, so in the beginning of my skincare journey, if you will, I started with like wipes and micellar waters, and then I got into foaming cleansers, and then it was from basically like the last 3 years or so, it's just been cleansing balms, cleansing oils, cleansing whatever, but dual cleansing, and I'm never going back, especially with micellar water. I think micellar waters are good for maybe just getting like eye makeup off, but otherwise I would not use it just to wash your whole face. It's just gonna strip your skin for the most part. It's not beneficial to your skin, whereas cleansing balms can be really beneficial and they can impart moisture into your skin. Now that said, this one is probably the best out of all of them, and it's not too expensive. It's like, I would not pay a lot for a cleansing micellar water. So it's good. It's definitely a find. I just don't use it anymore, so it's not something I would, go out and buy anymore. And as I mentioned, the next 2 are from the same brand, which is Cerve, which some people say Cerve, who knows how to say it. The first one is a hydrating facial cleanser. I bought this, I think like 10 years ago, and I hated it because it did not foam. And I was like, what like cleanser doesn't foam? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, it's not a bad one. It just wasn't like what I thought of soap being or cleansers being. And it is a really nice cleanser. There's a reason why it's high on this list. If you have sensitive skin, if you have a damaged skin barrier, you want something that just does the job with nothing added. And that's exactly what Cerve and Cetaphil do. I wouldn't say that like you should use them for the rest of your life, but they are a good thing if you have kind of like irritated your skin, or if it's just kind of over exfoliated, over whatever it is, and it's just kind of like having a reaction. Take everything off, use the basics, go to Cetaphil, Cerve, and use it until you kind of get your skin back under order. And this is one of those things that will do that. It'll help. That, and then the next one, which is a Cerve moisturizing cream. They're just bare bones. They do the job. They still have actives, which are ceramides for the most part. And I really, really enjoy both of them. Both of them are fines. The only thing, the reason I say you don't have to use it forever, it's not something like as you're like in your 40s, you've been like, I've been using it for 20 years. And I say that because skincare should be fun. Of course, it is about like taking care of your skin and making sure it looks its best, you feel your most confident. But sometimes those get so boring. How else do you say it? They really do. So I think if you can use them to get your skin under control, then you can transition into things that are just a little bit more fun and maybe are scented. Scents are not terrible for your skin, but they are like a good stopping over point. So I guess that's all I have to say about both of them. They're both fines, they're both wonderful, but don't use them forever and feel like you have to or your skin's gonna fall apart. That's not true. This is always at the top of the list. This is the True Skin Vitamin C Facial Serum with vitamin E and hyaluronic acid. This is one of the cheapest vitamin C's you can get. It's always on the top of the Amazon list. It was fine. I actually liked the texture of it. Let me see if I have any left. I don't think I do. Oh wait, there's a little left. It's a little bit thicker than just like a liquid serum. So it has like a little bit of viscosity to it, which I like, but I had no success with it. And I'm actually going to insert pictures of day 1 and day 30. I tried it every single day for 30 days. And I know a lot of the times something like this with an active, you really should be using it for like 2 to 3 months to see any results. Now, that said, my skin doesn't really do anything with vitamin C serums. My skin is tough. So it needs a little bit more than that. So it's not necessarily that this is a bad product. Just me, personally, I don't really react well with them. Like, they don't work. So I think if you have more sensitive skin, this could be a good option. It is relatively cheap. You can get it very easily. Shipping, of course, is quick. It's Amazon. And it didn't do anything terrible. Just for me, I can't really endorse a vitamin C serum when I don't see results. So this is definitely going to go into the flying category. But if you see really good results from vitamin C serum, I would say try it out. The ingredient list is not terrible. You can tell that this is probably a private label brand, which just means they get like the ingredients, the formula from somewhere else, like somebody else makes it and then they pop on a label and they call it their own. So there's probably nothing wrong with it. Now, if you have super sensitive skin, do a patch test before. But otherwise, this is probably a good option. It's cheap. And last up, we have another Neutrogena. And you can tell that this is like a lot of the big brand names because it is the top 10 list on Amazon. Like, that makes sense. You're not going to see all these indie labels, except for maybe like this one. But the last one is Neutrogena Regenerist. Why can't I say that? Mineral SPF. I reviewed this probably a year ago now. I will pop in the link here. And it is a spectacular mineral sunscreen that does not have a huge amount of cast, but is also so hydrating, which is not always the case for a mineral sunscreen because a lot of the time zinc oxide, it can be very drying on your skin. So this one is around, I think it was $25 to $30. It's not cheap, but it's not like super expensive either. But it's a great one, especially for this time of year when it is very dry and cold out. and it's one that I tell people about all the time. I don't have it anymore because I gave it to a friend, but it's a definite find for me and a good way to end out this video. So anyway, you know, I think by going through the top 10 at the moment list that I found, it was really interesting because I did find a lot of these things are deserving of a spot on the top 10 list. And I thought that that was really good. I know a lot of them are sponsored, and you can tell if you look on Amazon, it'll say like sponsored, which just means they're paying extra ad money to be boosted up a spot. But if they're terrible products, they are gonna go lower. They're gonna get lower rankings, lower reviews. So it's paid, but it's also like somewhat reputable, I guess. But I was pretty pleased with this list. Most of them were pretty good, and you know, if they don't work for me, that doesn't necessarily they won't work for you, but they are, you know, good products for the most part. So we're gonna wrap that up here. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun one. If you have any other ideas for stuff like this, maybe like Target, I don't know, whatever. If you have ideas for the flip or flop video, just let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.